Am I the a-hole for ratting out my assistant/colleague and getting her fired to save my own job? Plus updates. Original post. I know how it sounds, but please read before you judge. I, 30 male, have worked at my current employer for 3 years. Last year, I received a promotion to project manager. In the beginning, everything went well, but in the last month, I've been getting more and more negative feedback. I did not understand what was going on or why people were becoming so negative about me. I was losing clients, and several colleagues were really upset with me. I started talking to my manager and my department head about following courses and getting monthly feedback to perform better. I just wanted to live up to the promotion I received. I felt like I was failing. Then a friend or colleague of mine, 27 female, came to me angry and demanded that I apologize for what I said. I was really confused and asked her why she was so upset with me. She explained she received an email where I was basically blaming her for the issues that I was dealing with. This was an email a client forwarded her. I was at a loss and explained I never sent out an email like that and asked if she could show me. She did, and it had my name, my send address, and everything seemed like it was from me, but I never sent it. Then it clicked with me. My assistant 39 female has access to my email and has the ability to send as me. She's also the only one who has these rights. I was flabbergasted, and so much started to make sense. She was next in line for my job and did not receive the promotion. I did. I checked all her sent mail on her PC while she was out for lunch and saw dozens of emails sent as if it was me. An email still open on her screen showed my email address and a written message to clients with misinformation, passive aggressiveness, and straight-up lies. These were sent out under my name. I made screenshots and sent them to myself, then went to my manager and the head of the department. They were pissed. She was fired that same day. I was relieved, and all my colleagues were informed. I thought I was completely in the right here, but some people at work are complaining that I violated company policy for snooping on her PC and violating her privacy. My boss and direct colleagues have my back, but the people who knew her, she has worked there 10 years and I've only been here 3, say I went too far. Apparently, she's a single mother with 2 kids and needed this job. I also need this job, and she was more than willing to sacrifice me for her benefit. I don't see how I could be in the wrong for defending myself. Maybe I'm just too close to the situation to see it? Did I go too far by going on her PC? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. She was trying to screw over your career through lies and deceptions, and you caught her and she received the correct punishment for her actions. Also, it wasn't her PC, it was the company's computer, so specifically not a personal computer. Many companies have the authority for a manager, supervisor, or superior of some form to access the company equipment if needed. You accessed her work accounts, which ended up being your own account. She was angering clients and your coworkers. Everyone who was mad at you should have been mad at her. If you're in America, you should understand you have absolutely no privacy on your work computer or phone. I can view, read, etc. every single thing any employee does on their work-issued computing devices. And I can easily be required to do so, for example, to settle allegations of harassment. If you don't like that, don't log in, view, read, etc. anything you don't want anyone in your management chain to see on your work devices. Keep personal emails solely on your personal devices. Info. What is the privacy policy of the company? If it's work equipment owned by the company, I don't think you can have an expectation for privacy. Also, she's your assistant and has the ability to send emails as you, so you have the right to look at anything she's sending on your behalf, and it seems like you did it just in time. If she has the brass to send out emails full of lies as you, then she has to accept the consequences. Honestly, I wasn't completely aware of what the privacy policy entailed. So I spoke to our HR department. They state, and I'm paraphrasing here, that in no circumstances are you allowed to go onto someone else's account and use their data, as some people have very sensitive data. They said they made an exception for me in this case, because 1, I was her supervisor, and 2, she was causing damage to not only me, but to the company as a whole with her behavior. I still got a warning for doing it, just not any real punishment. You didn't get her fired. She did this to herself. Someone would have figured it out eventually. She chose to risk her job and endanger the business with her deceitful behavior. Losing her position is a natural consequence of her choices, not the a-hole. I hope you are able to continue to repair your reputation from the damage she caused. I don't understand what the end game was here. If he got fired or demoted, there probably would have been a meeting in which his conduct was discussed, and he would have pointed out that he didn't send those emails then. What a total mess. Now for the update. They just let me know they are holding a meeting to clarify what exactly happened. They were catching on to the people that weren't happy about her being fired, and they want to quell any issues before they start taking root. I'll update again once the meeting is over. It's in 1 hour and 20 minutes from now. Second update. The meeting took about 1.5 hours, and after that, I was in and out of talks with colleagues and other people. It was properly explained what she was doing and had done to me and the company. The attitude towards me noticeably changed in a positive direction, with a lot of people apologizing to me and explaining they'd known her for years, were friends, and could not imagine she actually did something like this. Honestly, I'm happy it ended up this way. HR and my boss really had my back here and preemptively handled things to avoid any lingering negativity. Nothing but praise for them. I've requested some time off, which was approved, and I'll be home for a week starting next week. Per my request and advice, they are also going to revise, or at least look at, the company policy regarding access to other people's emails and other security issues I've noticed. It'll probably be the last update for now. I might make an update post if anything significant happens. Thank you all again. Next story. Update. Am I the a-hole for asking my friend to pay the remaining balance of the loan I gave her after 17 months of waiting, while pointing out all the other stuff she wasted money on in that time? Original post. This just happened this last month, and while I have other friends and family backing me, what my friend said to me is eating at me, and I keep thinking I am the a-hole. So I'm thinking maybe an outside point of view is what I need. This is over a cruise that I've fronted the cash for. Me, 34 female, and my friend Kim, 33 female, booked the cruise in August 2023. By April 2024, she finished paying off the initial cost, then wanted to add more, excursions, drink packages, etc., and the total of all that came to just over $450. A few weeks before the cruise, Kim told me they started the steps to go through bankruptcy, and I said I could easily cancel the trip since we had travel insurance and could get all our money back. Her spouse, 37 male, and Kim told me not to worry and to just book the additional things and keep the trip. Cruise was May 2024. Afterwards, Kim started explaining how hard their bills were and they couldn't afford anything. I understood since I've been there and said she could just do payments of whatever they could afford. During the next 17 months, May 2024 to October 2025, they only paid me 2 times, $50 each. She continued to complain they couldn't afford anything nor pay me back, even though she was buying and doing a lot. She bought over $300 of Lego sets, $100 of video games, spent over $1,000 at a Comic-Con, premium pass over $200, autographs of 3 celebrities over $400, photo ops with 2 celebrities over $400, plus Artist Alley purchases and food at the con, since she didn't want to bring her own, went to a few NHL games, attended a few concerts, and a few other things. Note, they paid for all of this and it wasn't gifts. I was with her when she did over half these purchases. So a few weeks ago, Kim posted she just got tickets again to a concert next summer. I was curious and went on and saw the cheapest tickets available were just over $300 each. She got tickets for her and her spouse. So I messaged Kim asking if she was able to pay me back, and she said they couldn't and were doing payments for the concert tickets. That's when I decided I had enough and needed to get everything off my chest. I brought up to her that I have been offering payments as well and that she said they couldn't afford it. I went on to say I felt like she was taking advantage of me. Kim immediately blew up at me, saying I was guilt-tripping her. She went on to say if I wanted it that bad, she'd pay me off, but they wouldn't be able to buy gas or food the next few months. When I tried explaining why I felt the way I did, that they had 3 incomes in their household, her husband, and her father, when I had only mine, and pointed out a lot of the stuff she bought, and said I didn't like how she was gaslighting me, she immediately started saying I was toxic and delusional, and that I valued money over friendship. In the end, I told her if they're hurting that bad, she can keep the money, and I blocked her on all social media, frustrated and needing a break. Seeing I blocked her, she blew up again and said I changed and I'm proving I don't care about people struggling and that I am in the wrong for only caring about money over our 20+ years of friendship. So now I am questioning if I was really the a-hole or not. Side note, no, this wasn't just over the money either. I always felt awkward around her because of some of the sketchy and questionable things she's done. But the money was the final straw, I guess. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, but I think you've learned a valuable lesson here. When you loan money, you need a contract. Even with friends, even with family. She is and has been taking advantage of you, so do not lend her money again even if you reconcile the friendship. From here on out, be very careful about lending money. Thought I could trust her, especially since she paid the initial portion of the trip back. But after 17 months, it got frustrating waiting for the last bit, so finally said something. OP, take her to small claims court, get the money, and end this toxic friendship. I don't know if small claims court is worth the leftover $350-ish she owes me. Been told it could be a few $100s to take someone to court. You just pay the filing fee. It is really simple to look up how much it costs for your county or city. It seems to be a lot cheaper than I heard from others who did it. Definitely will be looking into this more. Thank you. Now for the update. So this update came a lot faster than I thought. I do want to thank everyone who gave their suggestions to take my now ex-friend to small claims court, and of course end her friendship. Anyways, after multiple people saying I needed to take her to court, I decided to try once more to get my money back. I texted her and said I will take her to small claims court if I must, but it isn't right that she promised to pay me back and hasn't. Of course, she started in on the sob story, saying she and her husband will starve and may lose the house if she pays me back, then got mad when I told her she should just sell her concert tickets she just bought, or cancel her Disneyland trip I found out from a mutual friend they were planning. She didn't reply for a while, then ended up saying that, unlike me, she is a true friend and at least doesn't let money corrupt her and make her an evil person like I became, but she sent the remaining balance via Venmo. So I got my money back. All $373 she owed left. I didn't reply, just wanting to be done with her, but got one more long text saying I shouldn't be gaslighting and berating her for wanting to do a childhood dream of hers, going to the concert, and that I have even spent money on things I wanted, so she should be able to as well. That her tip money is for fun and not bills, so I have no right to tell her how to spend her tip money. That she's glad my true self is showing, and that she needs supportive friends and not those who want her to suffer. After that text, I blocked her on everything. I was done. Thank you, Reddit, for helping me out with this situation. Some of the stuff she said to me is still making me feel like a bad person, but I will say once I completely blocked her, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And now that she paid me my money back, I'm going to go spend it on something to help me de-stress, LOL. If anyone comes back at you with a "how could you let money ruin the relationship?" make sure you ask them if they came at Kim with the same question. Nah, just say a real friend would have paid me back before blowing thousands on trips, concerts, etc. Who spends money on trips, concerts, toys, games, autographs, etc., while also starving, losing their house and in bankruptcy? They don't, unless they're planning to add to the bankruptcy resolution, fraud, and don't know how that works. When she goes into required debt counseling and they see where her money goes and when she spent this money, she may get a harsh reality. Kim can have her dreams, but that doesn't make it your dream to fund, which she did seem understand when she agreed to make payments to you for the excursions. Kim is full of BS and failing on how she treats her friends. She is treating you just like she's treating bankruptcy, a way to spend and not have to pay. You are right to be done with her. I can say she did do some bankruptcy fraud. Heard a lot she was saying to the bankruptcy lawyer she talked to on the cruise, and she explained some things to me once off the phone when I was asking why she left some things out and that. But really doesn't surprise me looking back on a lot of other things she did too, even before then. Had a few other friends warn me years before, but I didn't listen. But they actually stayed around and then helped encourage me to get this ball in motion when I saw she bought the new concert tickets and I vented to them. They're the ones who said I need to say something, so I did. Then got all this gaslighting and that from Kim. So yeah, I'm glad I have a few good friends still, and I'm done with this one. Last story. I took an hour commute to get my coworker in trouble. I live about 20 minutes away from my workplace by car, and I drive every day. It's a lot more convenient for me than the hour-long public transport route that involves multiple transfers going into traffic, and my shifts aren't regular, changing between midnight and 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. My senior coworker also drives to work, and his shifts are only 8 a.m. We had an upcoming supplier visit. That was about another hour's drive from our office. I was already annoyed with my senior because, despite all of it being his responsibility, he left me with all the tasks of coordinating the visit. All that was left was the question of, who's driving? The month leading up to the visit, my senior kept making leading comments about how he didn't want to drive, or asking me if I had gone to that area before. I didn't want to add chauffeur to my responsibilities, so I kept rebuffing him. One day I overheard him talking to my manager about how we still didn't really have a plan, and he would figure something out. I waited like 3 days for that something to get to me, but all I got were more of the same. So a week before the visit, I started leaving my car at home and commuted every day. I woke up an hour early and all that. I didn't mind the extra hour because I was fueled by spite, and it was an opportunity for me to catch up on my podcasts. 3 days of this, my manager noticed, and I fed him this fake story about how my brother was in town, and I lent him my car so he could see the sights with his girlfriend. I also drafted an email that I sent to my manager and my senior asking the supplier for ways to get to them, because our transport plans fell through. My manager was livid with my senior, asking him if this was his idea of figuring something out. He also berated him for being irresponsible and leaving much of the work to his junior, calling it shameful behavior. My senior begrudgingly drove us to and from the supplier's place. Oh, and my brother went home the day of our visit, so I rolled up to the office the next morning in my car. Why would you add hours of commuting time just to get out of 2 hours of driving? Pettiness. At one of my previous companies, the senior-most person was always responsible for transportation regardless of mode. That was because corporate was smart enough to know that if something bad happened and a junior was responsible, there were a lot more legal complications. This was the case for us too. My senior was really just a job-passing a-hole. Why couldn't you have just said, "I'll meet you there"? It was an area that was very difficult to get to, and it's standard protocol that we arrive together.